We'd like to welcome everybody aboard. If you're just joining us, you are watching Mike Suglin's Josh Northeast 9-Ball Tour. We're coming to you live from Raxx Pool Room, Sports Bar and Grill. We're in West Hempstead, New York. I'm Upstate Al, and I'm going to be joined in the booth by Allison Fisher for this final match. This is going to be the finals, folks. Earl Strickland versus Mike Dechaine. It's a true double elimination. Earl Strickland has to beat Mike Dechaine twice. Okay, Mike Dechaine set to break in game one. The wing ball, the three ball, finds its way right into the corner pocket. And we're going to have also Larry Ross joining us in the booth. Just give us a second to set up.
Hello.
Okay, Larry Ross. Allison Fisher's doing a little work on the side. She will be sitting in also.
And they put it up there that they're playing Rack Your Own. Mike, of course, his break is awesome. We know that. And it's going to be tough. Earl will have to beat him twice.
True double elimination. Guys, don't forget, May 24th through the 26th, the 4th annual George Ginky Sansucci Memorial will be coming up at Steinway Billiards in Astoria, New York. Last year they had 192 players. The field is filling up quick. I urge you to go over to the Predator Pro-Am Tour.com if you want to play or see Manny at Steinway.
I tell you, people out there, you know the shame of it? You have two of the top players playing in the finals here, and we had the last match, two of the top players, and people, unless you come in and see them live, as well as if you can't make it here, you're not around, you're really missing a lot. You're really missing a lot not seeing them live.
And you know what? The pool rooms deserve the spectators coming in.
And all the rooms that put the money up and sponsor these people, they are entitled to do better.
Yes, they do add money to this tournament.
Money is added all the time.
Yep.
What I find funny about pool these days, pool is the #1 played sport in this country. Between the bar pool, the big tables, it's the #1 participating player game that we have in the U.S. And yet, we can't get any support for the sport.
Hey guys, it's Allison Fisher joining you. And Larry, that's a very good point that you just made. I think it's very difficult when there are so many people that are enthusiasts and do enjoy the game, but there is still sort of a gap in awareness. So it's sort of our role as, I'm saying our in terms of mine and Al's role as media leaders to do outreach and try to bring a wider audience. And I was just speaking to a photographer that's here at the event who I'm acquainted with, and he's going to get some of the area leagues involved in learning more about the current.
I happen to meet Claude. Yeah,
Claude,
very
yes.
nice gentleman. Yes,
Plays
absolutely.
in some local leagues here in the New York area, based out of Bronx.
AKA Bronx Billiards, screen name, in the chat quite often. Finally got a chance to meet him. And yes, he's going to be doing a lot, Allison.
And we do want to be involved in the communities of players here, and they do they have a huge presence here in New York. There are a lot of league players from the varying different organizations.
Along with NYC Grind, that's doing quite a lot, Allison Fisher.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Al.
Every time I'm online, you're always doing something. And that's what it takes. It takes a bunch of us. And Mike Dechaine just misses that by 2 diamonds. But yeah, it takes everybody. You know, there's people in the chat. You know, I can't tell you enough about how many times we see people sharing the information and getting the word out that this tournament's going on, and it's nice to see. I think the only way we're going to be able to lift this sport up off the ground and we'll get it back to where it should be is by everybody doing their part. And it might just take a couple of seconds of just sharing the information or making a post on AZ Billiards or any kind of other forum to really, you know, bring the awareness.
And I also think a lot of the fault lies with the motion picture industry to a great degree, because even up to a year or so ago, if there was ever a problem, it was always in the pool room in the movies. You had the Seagal movies.
Hey, anybody see Richie?
Yeah,
I remember
exactly, that type of thing.
It creates a lot of stereotypes.
Right, a lot of stereotypes, which really, I mean, you're always going to have a stereotype in every sport, but for the most part, these are all legitimate people that play this game.
Absolutely.
And we just had a college professor play earlier. An English college professor, teaches in Rutgers.
Right. Yes, Travis McKinney.
Yeah, Travis, nice young man. I mean.
Now, Travis McKinney, getting back to him, because you happen to know him quite a while. Does he shoot out of Amsterdam Billiards?
He does shoot out of Amsterdam Billiards.
That's what we kind of assumed, but we
and
weren't
he
sure.
often plays in the area New York tour events and can be seen at Steinway Billiards as well. Yeah. There's a whole variety of people that come from different fields who are specialists in also in pool.
Sure.
So we have we're very fortunate here in New York to have such a wide variety of cultures and people involved in the sport.
School
One
teachers,
of the-
lawyers, we've seen it,
Sure.
and we
Absolutely.
have it.
Louis Panullo here in Long Island is a dentist, renowned dentist here.
Right.
He's a big contributor to pool and supporter of a lot of the pros.
And you also have Joel in New York. When he's supported a lot of the players for a long time. Still does.
Wishing you all the best, Joel
Yeah.
Shapiro.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He's from what I heard. I spoke with Flacco and Frankie. He'll be back from Florida soon.
Well, this 2-ball is makeable. That 9-ball makes that corner pocket pretty large. If he can spin it off the rail, that 2-ball will drop, and the cue ball will be, with the momentum of the
He
English, will
can't
be
get down
heading
enough.
towards the
I
3.
don't think he can get low enough on the cue ball here. So he couldn't get low enough.
How about that?
That's what the game is, people. It is what it is.
Right.
Right.
Wow. Fired it
A
in
lot of-
Fired
9,000.
it in.
Very beautiful shot. A lot of the another thing is some of the promoters. I'm not talking about like Mike, but I mean even the smaller promoters that promote a little tour here and there, that type of thing. Most of them are not in it for the players. They're in it for what they can put in their pocket, and they have to loosen up a little bit.
Well, I don't know anything about the background of promoters or your tournament directors, as you specified.
All right.
But I can tell you one thing: AZB TV and NYC Grind are moving into Mr. Q's this Saturday and Sunday, coming up next
Absolutely.
weekend for the
Yeah.
New York State 10-ball championships at Mr. Q in Lindenhurst. So, guys, put that on your calendar.
We'll be there. We'll be there.
Mike Dechaine set the break here in Game 4, leads 2-1. Larry, I love Larry.
Hey, you know my mom. I'll be 80 next year. I want to tell you. And my mom, when my mom, may she rest in peace, she passed away. She was 98, and when she hit 85, 87, she used to say, "I don't owe anybody any excuses."
You're right.
To a degree, I mean, I've been through the mill in my life, from the bottom to the top. He said, and what I say about promoters is something that I honestly believe they have to loosen up a little bit. That's all. I'm not talking about Mike, who's got a great tour, or the Tri-State, but there are a lot of smaller promoters in and around the business that, you know, are more interested in their own pocket than they are in promoting the sport. That's my feeling.
Right, right. Are you talking specifically? Because Kevin Trudeau, wasn't that his name, Kevin Trudeau?
He's in
now
jail
in prison.
now.
Yeah.
10 years.
He actually wanted to add money to it. Wasn't that the
Well,
theory?
The problem was it wasn't his money he was adding. He was a small-time Bernie Madoff. Anyway, on a serious note, though, the game is a great game.
Played by ugly people. I heard that before.
No, it's played by beautiful people with a few uglies mixed in. That's all.
And that's the same in any arena
Right.
as well.
Yes,
Right.
you're absolutely right.
You know, I go back to, as I say, I'm not young anymore, but I go back to when I caddied. I don't know, back then, I think I was about 10 years old or 11.
Wow.
And I used to carry 2 bags on a Sunday on a 9-hole course. And
Did they only have one club inside the bag? when
no,
you're 10
they
years
were
old?
heavy,
Wow.
all right? And I remember, back then, if you played golf, you were a golf bum. There was nothing in golf back then.
He did not
If you
have
played
quite
tennis,
the established
you
tour.
played tennis, you were a tennis bum. Look where the sports are today. Unfortunately, for some reason, we can't crank this up to the level that it should be.
Well, Earl's got the reason for that. He says you got to make it a one-hole game like golf. Golf is played, and the cup is only one whole
Yeah.
cup. Played on an enormous
that's-
acre of grass. He says you got to put only a table together with one pocket. He says, and it might get interesting.
No, but I think we ought to come up with a table with a pocket on the Brunswick and a pocket opposite each other, and they're hard. It'd be hard to get out on that table.
Most definitely.
But be as it may, we're joking around a little bit here, but the sport is wonderful, and it's really played by so many people at so many different levels, and why it just can't be pushed a little bit by industry is beyond me.
Well, you know, I had a chance to talk to Mike. I'm tongue-tied. Talked to Mike Dechaine last night. We went to Steinway Billiards after Raxx here. And Mike thinks that, you know, we got to change the game around. It's obviously not working the way it is right now. But I said, how do you change it? I mean, how do you change this game around? You know, to make it more popular and or bring it, I don't know, to another level.
Well, in my opinion, I feel like a lot of it has to do with the lack of maybe understanding of the sport as it stands today. There's just a little bit of a lag in knowledge.
I think the main problem with the sport is that it's not a spectator sport unless you play the game yourself.
Well, this is agreeable to a certain point because of the English that they use on the cue ball, and you can't appreciate it. Now, we went with the measle ball to show on camera the direction of the spin that the cue ball's taken. But how much more knowledge do you need to bring to the general public? Because not everybody's going to get on a pool table and appreciate it anyway until they reach a certain level.
Well, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying that it will never be a spectator sport like golf. Even bowling, where some guy gets up and throws a ball and the pins fly all over.
Making $1 million.
Right, won't be right. And bowling is certainly much easier than playing pool.
Absolutely.
You know, when you...
Well, now there will be certain bowlers that will disagree with you, but I believe so.
I knew some of the top bowlers. They said pool was a very, very difficult game.
Well, you know what?
And as it is.
Well, in the schools they have bowling, Allison, don't they have bowling teams?
Many of them do. Yes, many schools do have bowling teams.
They have golf teams.
Well, you see, Mark Wilson he's the one that actually promoted and got done the scholarship structure for pool.
And Jameson New is behind that, pushing that as much as he
Right,
can also.
and I talked, as I told you before, with him in length, and I was discussing with him the possibility of going to some of the schools up here, the bigger schools, that can afford to put in 20 tables, et cetera, et cetera.
Absolutely, it does require some outreach with the local communities.
And
Jerry and I are actually involved in working with Jameson. We want to create some positive initiatives for those types of programs in New York. So we'd definitely like to see more growth with the youth and more involvement.
But I think,
and exposure.
I think what could be done there, I think we'd have to do, well, my feeling would be like somebody with Mark, do a video in the universities in down there. Actually do a video.
It's a very good idea.
Professional video, and then set up an appointment with a university up here, bring it in, and show it.
Yeah, absolutely. You can make an example out of what they're doing and then bring it into other schools and show them.
I did that with, just
format.
to give you an idea, I did that with not the Camel Tour, but the Pro Tour under Don Mackey. And unfortunately, there was another fellow like a Trudeau, Mackey, only he robbed his own players.
Easy, Larry. They're very sensitive microphones.
No, he did. No, he did. He disappeared with all the money and whatever. Anyway, but I used to take the video to different hotels that they wanted to run a tournament. And show them, and yet there are people there to watch it. And you'd have to guarantee them a certain amount of this, certain amount of that.
The bottom line is you have to get more people involved. If we get students involved, and it's the schools. We now have more amateurs involved. Possible champions come out of it.
Absolutely.
If the schools wanted to give a scholarship for it, see, that's the key. Nobody's going to go to NYU and pay $55,000 a year.
Listen, it doesn't have to jump off of a scholarship from the get-go. When you got a football player on a football team, whether it be in junior high school or high school, and he happens to be one of these natural running backs that makes so many touchdowns with so many great plays, he's recognized by spotters from colleges. And the colleges pick up the scholarships. It's not somebody has to put up 50,000 from the get-go. It's spotters that are out there recognizing the potential of an individual. And we'd like to say good morning, good afternoon to CMB WSU, our senior mod, Bob, CMB. Nice to see you out there, buddy.
All right, and that will put the score at 5-1 for Mike Dechaine. We are racing to 9.
Oh, you've been in the background all morning. Okay, Bob, thank you. A little worried about you. I was going to call you, but I didn't have a second to. Yeah, getting back to those scholarships, you know, that's what I think about it is. See, once you get it in. That's Larry with a piece of paper in his hand. Once you get it in the schools,
Yeah.
and then it becomes popular. Then spotters get, you know, they recognize the potential of a player. They want to pick them up if there's a professional college team, which we could call semi-pro or whatever the case may be. They want to pick them up for their team.
Right, imagine if we had pool tables in every school where you would have players practicing regularly, and it could be exposed to the general high school population.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I agree, 100%. That's where I think
what Mark Wilson is doing now with his teams at the Lindenhurst University, they're now getting public exposure for pool within the university system.
Right. That's
so it's fabulous.
Absolutely, step in the right direction.
I give them a lot of credit, and I really appreciate all the hard work that they're doing to be innovators for pool. And now we're going to have Mike with a pretty difficult position here on the 3 ball.
No.
Oh, he's on the 2. That's the 2 ball. My bad.
No.
Oh, no, he was all right.
Are you guys driving by any chance? Because those colors are red. Yeah, but you know, once it gets into schools, and I hate to keep dragging it out because that's one of my I don't know, pet peeves. Then the Olympics might get involved, you know, and put it into the Olympics.
For sure, they're all positive steps for pool and for the players. And the growth will start with the younger generations.
As the house becomes quiet here, Mike Dechaine, on the verge of putting another bead on his side of the scoreboard, is taking a commanding lead. Now leads 6-1 over the mighty Earl Strickland. Rack your own format.
They did switch the traditional format for the matches. It's usually rack your opponent on the Joss Tour.
Unless the 2 opponents agree to rack their own.
Unless they do that.
But they both have to agree. You can't muscle your opponent into it, you know.
Right, you both have to
Yes.
have to be in agreement.
Yes.
And here at Raxx, we have Holden Chin, who is a longtime supporter of the Joss Tour, the owner of Raxx, who regularly plays in Turning Stone every year, I believe.
And his partner, Carl.
And Carl.
Yeah. Big supporter. Turning Stone coming up in mid-September. Keep that in mind. And I got word that there's going to be a big tournament around pretty soon, first week in September, that AZB and NYC Grind are going to be part of, but there is nothing set in stone yet. But it's going to be big. Where? We can't tell you.
We do have the East Coast, the Eastern Championship collaboration between the Predator Tour and the Joss Tour. That's going to be happening at
Snookers, right?
At Snookers.
Yeah.
I can't think of the date off the top of my head. Let me look it up here for you guys.
That's right. I think I got it right here on memo, Allison. Maybe I can help you a little bit.
Oh, I've got it here. That will be the weekend of August 30th through September 1st at Snookers in Providence, Rhode Island. The pro event, guys, is going to be a $3,500 added, and the amateur side of the tournament will be $1,500 added.
Nice. Steve Goulden and Regina up there, they're doing a hell of a job, and I tell you what a beautiful room that is. If you have a chance to stop by Snookers on those dates or any day.
One of my favorite places.
Yeah, what a beautiful
It's
place.
also the home of the New England Pool and Billiard Hall of Fame.
Keep us straight, Allison. Set us right.
I haven't actually been there in person yet, so
Really?
hopefully for that event, I think that'll be a great time for me to check it out. So.
Oh yeah, what a
forward
great
to
room.
that.
Yeah. Here we go, folks. Let's listen in. Now, they agreed to rack their own. So now you're probably going to see Mike Zuglin come in and say, look, you guys agreed to rack your own. Don't get me involved now.
As a side note, I'm not sure if this got mentioned, but this is actually a rematch between Mike and Earl from their previous time playing in the finals, also here in the Joss Tour, from their last tour stop. Which was won by Earl. I think after Mike had a pretty big lead, I believe Earl had taken that tournament.
How you doing?
We have Larry stepping out to take a phone call.
I don't know. Don't you have Barry with you?
Let's see what happens here.
Let's take a look down at what Earl's looking at.
Where do you want to go? Where?
3-ball flew right into the corner pocket.
Hold on, you're on Hillside. I can't think.
Nicely played safe here by Mike. Doesn't want to give Earl any opportunities here to get his foot in the door.
You went the wrong way. You want Northern Boulevard?
So now we'll see Mike play another safe.
Just roll up in the
roll
pocket.
Up, yeah, roll up the cue ball there.
Clearview, going toward the Bronx. You went to the Expressway, Long Island Expressway, the Clearview. You had to go toward the Bronx, and you would hit Northern Boulevard.
Well, this is definitely a makeable shot here for Earl, depending on. He'll have to spin it. Oh, very nicely done.
Okay. Position to boot.
Right, although the 4-ball, I believe, is blocked by the 5, so he may have a.
No, I think the 4-ball
you
goes,
think the
Allison.
4-ball passes?
Yeah, might go into that
A
corner.
bit hard hard to see from here.
We'll soon find out if Earl just stops there or causes a little angle for the four. It definitely goes. It goes. Unless he's going to elect to play safe if it doesn't.
Yeah, either way, he ended up in nice position to play either shot. Yeah, did cheat the pocket just a little bit, but so nicely played. And played the 5 ball up in the corner pocket. Should be pretty automatic from here.
If you get stuck, I can't tell you. I'm not there. I don't know. All right. Okay. Bye.
Okay, Earl Strickland puts another beat up, now 6-2 in favor of Mike Dechaine. Keep in mind, if Mike gets to 9, the tournament is over and Mike is the champion of this tour stop. If Earl happens to get to 9, we will play another set. It's a true double elimination, race to 9. Some of our some of our videos are being uploaded to YouTube, and that's the channel AZB T-Vision, folks. Mark that down and elect to go over there and subscribe to the channel. And when the matches are uploaded, you will get a notification. Earl says, I've been watching guys tilt the rack before you were born. Earl turning up the heat a little bit here. If he can continue to make balls and get a shot on the 1, Earl can hit Mike with some serious packages.
Hi, everyone. Back.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you for coming back.
All right. Sorry. Meant to blow your ears out at home.
Earl Strickland set to break in game 10, trails 6-3. 7 ball finding its way to the side pocket. No shot on the 1.
No shot at all. I think he might see it from the, I don't know. I can't tell from here. Maybe he's got the outside of the 1. Might be able to clip it. And if he clips it, it's going toward the 2 when the cue's coming around. See, he's looking at it also.
He's got to kick it to the long right rail.
Unless he can hit the outside of the 1. No,
Just before the side pocket and try to, or after, and just try to lock it down there by the 4. Somewhere in that vicinity. Speed counts here, though. Mike can actually back cut this into the corner.
Yep. And get around for the 2 ball also. Becomes automatic. If he makes this, he's automatic on the 2.
He's playing safe. We're going to try to lock him up on the 9, I believe. Oh, he back cut it.
That's automatic to the 2. Mike ought to get out here.
Well, it looks like Mike Dechaine is going to keep hold and good grasp on his commanding lead. And he does, Allison, 7-3. I was sitting and hoping and praying, and how's that song go? Something like that?
I was hoping that we'd have a closer match.
I'd like to see a double elimination match.
Well,
tomorrow.
that's what I'm talking about.
Go hill in the second set.
But Mike is breaking good and running out.
No, you
He
can't,
absolutely is.
yeah, you can't take nothing away from Mike. He's shooting great.
No.
His break is big. He breaks a lot harder than Earl. Earl will be the first one to admit it, too.
Earl has said to me many times, why does he have to look at Raxx? The way he breaks great anyway. He said, there's nothing to adjust or anything.
Had a ball drop last second.
Ball drop.
This game would put Mike Dechaine on the hill.
Yeah, he'll be out here. Should be out.
Yeah, it's one of those Cosmo tables, the way it's set up right now. You know, it's nothing in any kind of trouble, nothing on the rail. Every ball has a pocket.
And everything on one side of the table.
This is key position right here, the 4 to the 5.
This out will extend Mike's game lead by 5 games, 8-3.
Call him the commander right now. I put the score up ahead of time. I'm usually early like that. 8-3 in favor of Mike Dechaine now. He is on the hill. Do you know anybody in the chat named Pool Junkie 420 Allison? He's on his knees. He wants you to marry him.
I can't see the chat at the moment.
I just glanced over and I got wind of it.
I'm trying to remember who Pool Junkie 420 is.
I remember Pool Junkie was Jeff Conway, right? At one time or another, the original Pool Junkie or something.
Yeah.
I believe, right? Yeah.
Right. Well, that's not Jeff, I'm sure.
No.
Although you never know.
Oh, God. Here we go. Rack number 12, Mike Dechaine set the break. I'm not touching that one.
I try to keep track the best
I
I
love
can
Jeff.
of everyone's
I love Jeff.
chat
He knows
handles,
me
and
well.
Yeah, you
I'm
love
not-
him. You love him in a pot full of boiling water or on a spigot, right?
It's hard to keep track of everyone's. So if you'd let me know who you are, at least I won't be totally in the dark.
Allison Fisher is actually has a boyfriend I met last week, right?
I do. I am
Yes.
spoken for.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I'm sorry to
Allison.
break your heart, sir. Boy, Larry, you're cold-blooded. You sure you're not part shark? Well, this looks like it has every sign of being
It's a done
a
deal.
champion
A done deal.
crowned Mike Dechaine.
A done deal.
Well, you got a little fortunate here. That could have turned out a lot worse. Bumping into the 9 ball.
Okay, Earl
Earl has
concedes, and
conceded.
there you have your first and second place winners. Mr. Earl Strickland coming in second place, and the winner of the tournament, Mike Dechaine.
Yeah. Anyway, folks, I'm checking out. I just wanted to say thanks for listening.
And there you see Doug. I'm sorry to cut you short. You see Doug in the background with the camera there. He is Bronx Billiards with the gray sweatsuits. Looks like a gray sweatsuit. And the owner of Raxx, Holden Chin. Earl just can't get enough of pool. He wants
Very
to make sure that
nicely
this
done.
is rack straight. Allison, what a pleasure having you here. And Larry Ross.
Great to be with Allison always. And you, Al, of course, you're my buddy.
Thank
All
you
right.
very
Lot of
much,
years.
Larry.
Okay,
Lot of
Larry.
years.
Appreciate you being here.
Right. Be good. Everybody out there, love you all. God bless. Bye-bye.